You see, it's the Zoom become very polite. If
Хорошо.
give the message that the recording was started. It's very funny. Thank you very much, all of you, to join our web launch of today. We was already 20 minutes connected to discuss our today meeting, and I will try to be polite, as I learned just now that I have to also present myself. I would like to present myself. I am Oleg Prozorov. I am the director of the Belgian-Luxembourg Chamber of Commerce in Russia, and for Russia and Belarus. We have our offices in Brussels, in Moscow, and in Luxembourg, where I am actually. And I will not then, I welcome you again on our meetings dedicated to the business etiquette. And I will please then let our president to present himself.
Yes.
Mr.
Good afternoon, everybody. Even in Belgium, it's already afternoon, so that's easy. I'm Stefan, I'm Belgian. I'm working for Alders, which is a logistics company. I've been working logistics for over 25 years, so I'm getting older. With the last, let's say, 15 years or present or living in Russia. So at the moment, I'm not in Luxembourg, I'm in Petersburg, where it's minus 18 degrees at the moment and snowing. And also the pleasure and the honor to be a president of the Chamber of Commerce, where I just look at Oleg and Anna and they do everything, and I need just to look at them and talk to them from time to time. So also welcome from my side.
Thank you, Stefan. But did you will not only introduce yourself? I mean, maybe you will start already.
Okay.
You will start already.
No.
Sorry,
I saw in the presentation. I need to share my experience on business etiquette, which is not so easy. What I just can do is that my first experience as a non-Russian coming to Russia, and where I noticed a big difference in how you manage and how you do business. First of all, I came to Russia. The first time was in 1989 as a student. It was with Gorbachev, so it's a very, very long time ago. 1 week. So, but I don't at that moment has not to do with business, so I will skip that part. And the second time I came was 2006, and I arrived in a complete new world, because comparing 89 with 2006, it was a complete different environment. There are some there. And I remember when I came to Russia a few times, my colleagues in Russia told me, "Oh, Stefan, can you please bring Belgian chocolates?" I said, "Okay, no problem. You know, I know people love Belgian chocolates." And I was really thinking it was for themselves to eat it. And it was no to give to the customer. And when I came to Russia, I brought Belgian chocolates, and I noticed that a small present in Russia is still very valuable. If you come to Russia and you come to a customer, bring a small, for us, Belgian chocolate, of course, it's very delicious. While in Europe, we don't go to the customer bringing a present. Okay, with New Year, and even with New Year, a lot of companies says we cannot accept it because we have a company rule, a policy that we don't accept presents. But in Russia, my first experience, and still today, a present is very appreciated, and the gesture of giving a present. So that was my first experience. And then the second, when I moved to Russia 2008. We were discussing the investment of a new building, a new warehouse. And I had the last discussion, and the total price was 504 million ruble. So I go to the meeting and I said to the contractor, "You know, guys, let's make it 500 and we close the deal. You will be selected, 500, we close the deal." And the contractor says, no, the price is 504. I say, "Yes, I know the offer is 504, but let's round it 500 and the deal is there." No, 504. And I got a bit upset. And my financial director took me out of the meeting and said, "Look, Stefan, the people who are offering this are still a bit the old generation, and you need to look back to the past. They were raised in a country where the prices were fixed. So at that moment, when they were young and they were 20, wherever they go, it was still the communism and all the prices were fixed. So there is no price negotiation. So if you negotiate the price, look with who you're negotiating. Is it somebody who's still with the mentality, I give you a price and we don't negotiate? Or there is still an option where you can say, okay, let's do some price negotiation. So that was for me already interesting that if you go to Russia, really think about their history, their background, and the changes they had in the last 30 years. And don't forget, it was a complete big change. So trying to amend a bit your way of thinking and your approach to that. And then maybe a third example, which is the opposite, is that we had another customer where we do transport and the price was fixed for 1 year. And my colleague says, you know, transport, the prices are increasing. And I think today we are in the same situation. We should go to the customer and tell them that the price increased and that we need to change the price. And I said to my colleague, are you crazy? We agreed a fixed price with the customer. How can I now go back after 3 months changing the price? He said, no, it's no problem. So I went to the customer and I was really nervous and I thought, okay, he will start shouting that I'm not a reliable supplier because I'm changing my prices after 3 months. But he came to me and said, oh, I was expecting you 1 month earlier because we see the market, we see prices are increasing and we were thinking you would come earlier. And I think a third item is also when what is happening is that it's very hard to plan 1 year ahead, also in Russia. It's about inflation, it's about exchange rate, it's about other things happening. So if you go to a customer and you fix something, they are really open to listen to you again after 2 months if things are changed. While in Europe, you give a price for a year, you cannot change anything during that year. Okay, maybe the last couple of months are a bit special with the whole disruption in logistics and with China, the rates of containers. But for me, the third, and that's, I will stop for that. The third lesson in also in doing business with Russia, they know that things are changing and they are willing to listen and to accept that you also take into account that things are changed and that the agreement you made 3 months ago should be discussed again. But it's always discussed. So you should not say, okay, I decided to change the price. No, you come, you explain what happened, and they're very open. While in Europe, in my experience, they were very closed. Fix is fixed. So I think this is, Oleg, some 3 examples. I can give you more examples, but I think we have too much more interesting speakers and specialists on this topic. So I will be happy to give the floor to them.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Stefan. And we will not lose the time. I will pass the floor. We have today 2 speakers, Ekaterina Dronova from Russia and Benoit Couborn from Luxembourg, and partly from Belgium, because I know he has also an apartment in the Arlon, near to Luxembourg on Belgium territory. He is the best example of the Belgian-Luxembourg cooperation. And I pass the floor now to Benoit to present himself, please.
Spasiba, Oleg. As we say in Luxembourg, goedemiddag, goedemiddag, dobry dzień, uważajmy damy I gospoda. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Benoit Couborn. I will give you a few words about me as an introduction. I have been working in 5-star hotels during 25 years. And 7 years ago, I set up my own company, Couborn and Partners, and I give lectures and conferences and training on how to give an authentic 5-star service to your customers. And I also give a training on business etiquette and professional good manners. I have prepared a few slides that I will be sharing with you this afternoon. And first of all, I would like to start with the letter A for the arrival. And when you arrive at a meeting, it may sound obvious, but it is very important to remind everyone that when you have an appointment with a customer, you arrive on time. The punctuality is extremely important, and especially in Luxembourg. It is important in every country. I mean, in Russia, in Belgium, in Luxembourg, but especially in Luxembourg, being punctual is extremely appreciated. As well as when you arrive in the offices at the reception of your customers, provided you have a meeting at 2 o'clock this afternoon with a customer in his office. Again, you arrive on time, and it's critically important to introduce yourself properly when you arrive at the reception. I remember when I had appointments in Moscow, you have external security companies who greet and welcome you at the arrival. While in Luxembourg, you have employees of the company who greet you when you arrive. And therefore, the first image, the first impression that you give when you arrive is extremely important. Therefore, as an example, I always, if I would have an appointment now with you at 2 o'clock in your company, first of all, I will arrive on time, and I will introduce myself at the reception by saying, "Good afternoon, madam. My name is Benoit Cuborn, and I have an appointment at 2 o'clock with Mr. Schmidt," as an example. And therefore, by introducing myself, I immediately share a professional image of myself and of my company. This is for the letter A, for arrival. At the letter B, I would like to say a few words about the business cards. Your business cards must be in perfect shape, and you must have in sufficient quantity. I have seen so often people having business cards which are damaged, or they have 1 or 2, and they do not have enough business cards to share with everyone around the table during a meeting, or to share with everyone during a cocktail or a reception. Therefore, my advice is to always have with you a business card holder with a good quantity of business cards, and hand over the business card hand in hand. It means you will exchange the business cards by doing hand in hand, and never put your business card on the table or on the counter. And exchanging the business cards at the beginning of the meeting allows everyone to identify who you are and what you do. Moreover, when you receive the business card, and I will do it now with you, when you receive the business card, take the time to read carefully the first name and the family name of the person you are meeting with, and you will identify something which can start to connect, to relate with your counterpart.
Somebody is listening to the news.
May I continue? Oleg. At the letter B for business lunch, I would like to make the difference between if you invite a customer in a restaurant, or if you invite him for a business lunch inside your company, provided that you have a restaurant in your company. First example, if I would invite you, Oleg, for a business lunch, I would ask you in which restaurant you prefer going to, provided that you prefer a restaurant nearby your offices, or a restaurant where there's a certain type of food that you prefer. But also, I refer to what Stefan said before, to your company policy. Your company policy allows you to go to that type of restaurant, and you may not be allowed to go to a 1-star Michelin restaurant for a business lunch. Therefore, I always ask my customers, I would like to invite you for a business lunch. Which restaurant would you prefer? Now, as I said, as I give a lot of conferences on business etiquette in the financial sector in Luxembourg, and especially in banks in Luxembourg have their own restaurant. And therefore, my advice is every time the bankers invite a customer for a meeting and a business lunch inside the bank, it is critically important to ask their customer if the customer has a preference or any dietary preference, or if the customer has any allergy It might sound being intrusive, but what happens is your customer feels more welcome, and therefore the chef will prepare a dish which is in line with the preferences of your customer. So, because when you are invited in some banks in Luxembourg, the customer does not have the menu in hands. He has nothing to read. He's being imposed the menu of the day. Therefore, it is important to ask in advance if your customer has any preference. At the letter C, engage the conversation. How to maintain, nurture, and engage the conversation during a business lunch or during a cocktail reception. First of all, I would, as we have a limited time, I would like to give all of you one golden rule when it comes to conversation during a business lunch or during a meeting. It is important to have a certain equilibrium of the time you speak with one person or another. Imagine you have a meeting in a company with 4 persons: the general manager, a lawyer, a colleague from accounting department. It is important that you do not only speak with the general manager, you need to give the time to the other persons around the table to express their opinion. And you need to provide them an equilibrium of time of speak. In other words, it is important to let everyone to share ideas and opinion. It might sound obvious, but again, recently, I have been attending a meeting when participants had not enough time to express their feelings, to express their opinion. It was a missed opportunity to close the deal. Greeting. How do you greet in Luxembourg, in Belgium, but this also applies in Russia. How to greet is also critically important. Mention your first name, mention your family name, and again, when you read the business card of your counterpart, you may ask, how shall I pronounce your name? And then this is a nice opportunity to use the business card to engage the conversation, to continue with the greeting, and therefore you build better bridges, a better bond, a better connection with your customer. Later on, ladies and gentlemen, together with the discussion with Ekaterina and Oleg and Stefan, we'll speak about the intercultural aspects of professional etiquette. So I will not speak now about this aspect. Ladies first, always ladies first. I have seen very often in Moscow, in Luxembourg, in Belgium, in all these countries and elsewhere, that the gentlemen do care for the ladies, helping the ladies with their coat, with their chair. They provide assistance. This is something which may sound obvious, natural, but this has to be reinforced. It's how you show your good manners and attention to details, which will create a special connection with your customers or with the persons you are meeting with, and it will help you in your business. Zakuska. When you attend cocktail or reception, it happens that you are being served on the tray, you are being served a series of zakuska. Again, if ladies are around you, you say ladies first, and the lady will ideally have a napkin and then take and will pick up a zakuska. But again, I would like to give you Oleg, you want to say something? The objective when you are attending a networking, a cocktail or a reception, your main objective is not to eat the zakuska. Your first objective is to connect, to relate, to create bonds, to meet people. Therefore, as your objective is to connect, you will eat later. The first objective is to get connected, get acquainted. And how can you eat and talk and exchange business cards at the same time? My advice is use the high cocktail tables, which are always provided when you are attending cocktail reception. This is the ideal place to connect and as well to show your good manners and business etiquette. You may have your glass on the table, the napkin. It's more comfortable to use the napkin and to have clean hands when you share your business cards and when you receive the business card of persons around you. And we are, as the last slide of my presentation is what I have observed over the last 3 years during cocktails and receptions. What is the difference between what people expect and the real situation during business lunch and during networking events? I have seen so often that the business cards are dirty or the business cards are mixed up. Means persons have different business cards in their hands or in their business card holder or in their wallet. But if they want to give you their own business card, they need to find out which one, well, this is mine. So when you attend a professional meeting or you are going to a cocktail or reception, you have your personal business cards with you, and all those you have collected the day before or the week before, keep them in your office or in your car or wherever you like. You go to the business meeting and to the cocktail reception with your personal business cards. People tend to forget business cards. Again, last week I was personally in a meeting in Luxembourg. People forgot their business cards. Well, it's a missed opportunity to show respect to the persons around you who took their business cards with them. And another example of what people expect versus the real situation is that people tend to speak with the same persons instead of showing respect and an equilibrium of time when they talk while talking to other persons around them during a meeting, during a business lunch, and during a cocktail reception. This is, in short, a kind of ABCs of professional good manners and business etiquette. I have obviously explained what is a common practice in Luxembourg, and I would be delighted to answer your questions later after Yekaterina will speak about how good manners are in Moscow.
Yes,
merci.
About the difference. Yes, thank you very much, Benoit.
Spasiba, merci.
Short presentation of how you advise to your customer, especially in the bank services, in the hotelery, and of course we let today the opportunity to explain the difference between Europe and Russia, mostly to Yekaterina, which I will also let to present herself, please.
Yes, thank you, Oleg. And as Oleg said, my name is Ekaterina Dronova, and I decided to set up the Academy of Diplomatic and Business Protocol in Russia because I was working for foreign companies, European companies for 20 years, and I saw so many mistakes which we Russian people do every day. We make these mistakes in business etiquette. That's why I decided to create some courses for business etiquette. And thank you, Benoit, for your presentation. And you was talking about arrival, you was talking about handshake, you was talking about business card. Let me say something about business card, and then I will show you my small presentations, because my purpose today is to hold some dialogue between Russian and European partners, how to hold this dialogue, because I heard that our partners from Europe, sometimes they told me that Russian business people looks like a little bit rude, a little bit impolite. Did you hear me? It started. And Benoit told very nice thing, a very important thing. If we meet each other in Russia, we used to put our business cards really on the table. It looks very impolite. It looks very it looks like disrespect your partners. I don't know why, but we used to do this. We don't give our business card in the hand. We prefer to put it on the table. Please don't be angry about this because it's just cultural characteristic. We hold some business trainings, we try to study this, but just now it's our mistake. So if we're talking about, I will show you my screen, my presentation. Second mistake which we make, I know this, we used to write our second name at the beginning, and only after the second name we write our first name. For example, my name is Ekaterina Dronova, but sometime you will see that other people try to introduce me by Dronova, it's my second name, Ekaterina, my first name. It's our tradition from, which started from revolution. We use second names mostly, so it's really sometimes confusing because you expect that we will have our first name at the beginning on our business card, but it's not in this way made. So I may show you, for example, business card of Vladimir Putin, our president, and you may see the example when he was working in St. Petersburg, the first business card, it was his second name at the beginning, Putin, Vladimir Vladimirovich. And after so many contacts with European partners, his protocol specialists made a business card for him in the right way. And in the right corner, you can see another business card when we see his Vladimir Vladimirovich. And after this, we may see his second name, Putin. So when you'll meet Russian people, please don't be angry with them because we still make these mistakes. And we still believe that it's nice to have both sides printed business card. We print on Russian language from one side, and many people try to print in foreign language, for example, in English language, another side. It's not right. We just try to show you that we have local partners, we have foreign partners, we are so international company big, but just now I told to our Russian customers that it's not polite, it's better to have one side printed business card and another side it's nice to hold clear just for notes. If you have some question, you may ask them.
No, but continue. We will after pass to the question and answer.
Yes, please. Yes. Benoit said that even in business, ladies first. On the picture, you may see my small joke because in Russia, really, ladies first, even if we are going to the lift, for example. But you know that lift is very dangerous, and for gentlemen, it will be better to go to the lift from the beginning. If we are talking about handshake, special with ladies, special with partners in business, I may say that we have some small difficulty. We don't used to think about status. We don't used to think about job title. We just come to you and we want to shake a hand. I know that sometimes it's some risk because if I meet a person who has high status, he decides wants he to shake me hands or doesn't want. So sorry, sometimes we try to be the first in handshakes. And another mistake from our side is handshake with ladies. I don't know why, but I suppose that our Russian gentlemen, our Russian men try to avoid handshake with the ladies. or sometimes they don't know what to do with this hand. So on the picture you can see not correct handshake.
We talk about business meetings, huh?
We're talking about business meeting. Yes, we're talking about business etiquette, because of course, in social etiquette, lady decides what to behave, what to do, how to do, give you her hand or not to give. But in business, if we're talking about business situation, of course, business partner, lady or gentleman, is he has a high status, he decides to shake your hand or not to shake your hand. But if we are going to the ladies, especially if she has status not so high, you decide shake your hand or not to shake your hand. So please shake hands. This is incorrect, shaking hands. The next picture is incorrect, because we don't know how to shake hands with ladies. The next picture is incorrect. Please, Benoit, maybe you will make some comments to this picture, because for my opinion, it's incorrect, because we have table between two partners and one of them is sitting. So if we're going after business day to the lunch, and Benoit told us that it's necessary to be polite during your business lunch, to talk with your partners from the right side to the left, from the left side. By the way, the most important partner we always try to place from the right side. The many important guest or partner we try to set on the left side. And during our business lunch, we are talking with partner from the right side and from the left side. And it was a question from Benoit, how to hold yourself when Russian people are going to tell some toast. We like to talk and we like to introduce some stories. We like to stand, we like to make chin-chin, we like to drink together. It's some Russian specialty, it's some our cultural characteristics. And I would like to show you some difference between European partners and Russian partners, which I know the same way. For example, in Europe, when we came to Germany, to France, our European partners told us, we just make show and chin-chin, and we drink our wine without some making together our glasses every time when you say, let's drink a wine. It's a European way to make some toast, to make some chin-chin, and it's a Russian way. By trying to get each other in the center of the table, we make our glasses together. And of course, at this time, we don't look at the eyes of each other. I know that sometimes it looks like incorrect. It's like impoliteness, because our German guys always told us, please look to my eyes. We're drinking together, but can you imagine when we put our glasses together? Of course, we look at the glasses, because we should have be careful.
Careful for the glass, but it's. I think this stories with looking in the eyes we was just discussing yesterday. Sorry to interrupt you with Benoit, and my opinion it's that this it came from the Balkan countries, and this was bring it to Europe, and the European now they are used with a different explication about 7 years, 9 years, or I don't know, of bad life, something like this, if you're not looking in the eyes. Sorry, Katerina.
Yes, but we always was told by our German partners, please look at our eyes. Why don't you look in our eyes? It was really some understandable situation. It's a difference, yes, and when you see that Russian people look not into your eyes, but on their glasses, don't be angry with us. Sorry us for this. And of course, one thing which I should say just now, it's the last thing before our discussion. it's that in Russia it's not popular to meet other people and to say Mr. or Madame, bonjour Madame, bonjour Monsieur, to say, for example, Mr. Johnson or Mr. Putin. We don't have these appeals, unfortunately, just now. And sometimes it sounds a little bit rude from our side when we say hello and nothing else. Or we say hello to everybody, or we say, oh, sorry, do you know how to go this direction, for example? But don't say hello, Mr., hello, Madame, hello, Monsieur. It's our mistake. It's a little bit, as I said, it sounds a little bit rude from our side, but it's small problem in Russian culture because before revolution we had these appeals. After revolution we had comrades, but people we don't like comrades, and we haven't any appeal just now. We try to use господа, and I told дамы и господа. Yes, we try to use it, but not everybody. And this is one more difference between Russian people and other world. Thank you for your time. I'm ready to ask you questions. I'm ready to answer your questions. Sorry for my English, and ask questions from my side. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, Ekaterina. But I have just a short comment. I think yes, господин и госпожа in Russia it's mostly dear sir, and on the street when you, I don't know, you have to ask your road, you will not stop the first guys in Russian, especially by saying dear sir, right? Because in English you have Mr. and you have like votre Altesse, I don't know, some highest. If someone have some special comments or questions, please unlock your microphone. Don't be.
And I have a question.
Yes, please.
First, I think I have a comment. I don't think that is correct and not correct. There is different etiquette in different countries. Like the example, if you're in Europe and you go to the restaurant or Belgium, and you finished your plate, but your other people on the table are still eating, they will not take away the empty plate till everybody has finished their meal. A Russian would say, this is very unpolite because my plate is finished and they still leave it here. So I don't think it's correct or not correct. It's like, okay, the etiquette are different in different countries. So I think it's not about correct or not correct. And I have two questions. I have one question. I remember when in the beginning, I came to Russia 10 years ago or longer. Sorry to say, but the service in the restaurant I didn't like. It was terrible service, and in a hotel. And I asked, why are you not investing in service? That look, the restaurant is completely full. Why should I spend additional money in delivering a good service? I have customers enough. So my first question is, do you think that this etiquette, service, attitude, is it improving in Russia? Are people investing it in having a better service level, better etiquette? That's my first question. And a second question, I remember when I came to Russia and I had my management team, I tried to manage to have a training, okay, how to work with Russians. And you can have 25 possible trainers who can help you how to do business with Russians. But I didn't find any training how to do business with Belgians, or how to do business with Dutch people, because Europe, Finnish people, they are completely different than Italians. I don't need to tell you that. But it's for me very strange that everybody wants to learn how to do business with Russians, but I don't find really back how to do business with a Belgian. And a Belgian is different from a Dutch person, I can tell you that. And okay, different from a German. So what is the reason that you cannot find it in the other way around? So these are the two questions for Ekaterina and Benoit.
Yes, thank you for your questions. I will start to answer from the first question. Yes, we're improving our service. Our history is very difficult, and we was closed country. And when we came to Euro countries, Belgium, when Luxembourg, Germany, France, and other, we saw so big difference, and we liked service in Europe. You know, every Russian people dreams to go to Europe. We like your service. We like that you're so polite, that you're smiling. We like everything. And after our business trips and tourist trips to the Europe countries, we decided that it's time to improve everything in our service. And just now we try to do this. We have, for example, Euro renovation, Euro fixing. We look to European partners, and we try to be the same polite. That's why I was talking about mistakes, because we think that it's small mistakes from our side. We hadn't etiquette courses. The second question from your side was concerning to how to be the whole business with the Russians. Yes, there are so many articles because it's really difficult. I even sent to Oleg special video how to hold business in Russian. Your business is very old. You have company with 100 years histories. You have big business families who had big history. 150 years, for example, history of company, 80 years of company. We in Russia, we haven't, because we started the whole business, even we're talking about business, 33 years ago. It's very young business, and very young people holding this business. We are studying the whole business. We are teaching the whole business. 10 years ago, it was terrible situation, I think. For example, how to hold negotiations with Russian people. Just now we have many trainers, we have many books how to hold business. We try to be polite. We're looking for our foreign partners. And of course, just now we're trying to be better and better and better and better. We try to be more reliable.
Sorry, my question is a little bit different. I see, for example, my colleague here, Elena and Gleb, in the meeting. When I came to Russia 10 years ago, I had the Russian management team and I was Belgian. And it was like, okay, how should they manage me? How should they understand my management style? Because I have a different management style and I can learn about doing business in Russia. There are a lot of books and, like I said, a lot of trainings. But I don't know. And at the end, I never managed. I found somebody who could talk about Finland, and still I noticed that I'm still different from Finnish people. But really the question is like, why is there no trainings for Russian or international companies with a big office in Russia, but their management is mixed? They have people from US, they have people from Germany, they have people from France, I don't know. And that they say, look, dear management team, we have some expat here. We give you a training how this guy is thinking or how the background of his business thinking is. And that's what I'm missing. I don't know if it exists.
I think the best answer of your questions will be this video, which maybe Oleg will send at the end of this webinar, because it's...
I have shared it.
Yeah, but I know the video, but that's about how Russian thinks, not about European things. That is, I know this, it's an old video with this, it's a very nice, very funny video, but this is about how Russian thinks. It's not about how a European thinks or our Belgian, because
but European, yes, because Ekaterina, for example, she's a practice it's to learn the Russian businessman, the new Russian, I don't know how to say, startups, how when they're going to the European market, how they have to connect with European, but European globally. And your question is very good, because each countries, like there is a big difference between Netherlands and Belgium, between Luxembourg and France. And I think it will be a good question maybe to Benoit. Maybe he has some idea. You have to just activate your microphone.
Yes. Now, do you hear me? Yes. First of all, I would like to answer the first question. Has the service improved in Russia? I say yes, absolutely. But now I will speak as a hotelier and as a trainer. When you go to a hotel or a restaurant, remember that you are being served your cocktail or your meal by a lady or a gentleman who is a human being. And that human being, that lady or gentleman, may not be in a perfect day. It might be a bad day for her, whatever happened. Keep in mind that you are being served by a person who is doing her or his best, provided remember they are in the hospitality, in the restaurant, we stand up. We never work being seated. Our guests are seated in the restaurant, but we always stand up. We are 8 or 9 hours a day standing up. Remember, keep in mind you are being served by human beings who have their ups and downs. And having been to many places, I would say from Listvianka near Baikal to Petrozavodsk to many other places, I have always been served by employees who were happy to serve me a local dish. So again, to answer your question, the service is beautiful in Russia. We should see it with different eyes, and we must keep in our mind the culture, the history of the country where we are traveling or living or working. Now, about the other thing I would like to say, they are not making mistakes. It's always a question of training, and it always depends on the boss. So to keep it short, if the boss is leading by example, the employees will also they will make a copy paste of the good practices. So to summarize, we are in an industry of human beings serving human beings. We are ladies and gentlemen serving ladies and gentlemen, and we have ups and downs as everyone.
Then you mean that all the employees of Stefan they are using same way? Yeah? Okay.
But Benoit, you know, sorry to add, like if I, for example, I invite you to Moscow, to Petersburg, and I said, look, I have a Russian management team here, and we are a Belgian company. Can you explain a bit how Belgian businessmen are acting, and what is the difference with Russia? Do you think this is feasible, for example, or is it something which is hard to capture?
No, it is absolutely feasible. Secondly, it is necessary, and it will help people to understand different cultures and what is perceived as a good habit, a good manner on both sides. So indeed, it is important to explain this to your team members.
Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Do we have some other questions, please?
Yeah, hello, Murad Tahumain. I have some just a few remarks. I've been traveling for the past 4 years in Russia now, and I work in the information security and IT technology. And I've been doing first time when I start doing business, I had my friends who were telling me, first thing, don't smile, otherwise they will not take you seriously. So that was the first thing. So I started to make sure that I don't smile. And the second thing I noticed is that usually with Russian businessmen or businesswomen, we go to the restaurant, and this is really the place where you can make sure that you have the deal or not. So it is the most important part, of the business conduct. And then you go back to the office or next time to sign the contract. So signing a contract is almost a formality. So the business was agreed when you finished your meal at the restaurant. So that's two things I learned when going to Russia, to Moscow or St. Petersburg, and I must concur to what Benoit said. The service in the restaurant are being very good and improving. There are some restaurants you have to book 3 months in advance to go there, and the kitchen is excellent. So very, very happy to see the change since 2018, where now you can find English signs, both English and Russian. I read Russian, so for me it's okay. So yeah, that's my contribution. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Murat. But you're still smiling. I hope,
but I'm serious.
Thank you. Maybe I don't know. Maybe Andrei Daskovsky, the administration of the port of Antwerp in Moscow, will comment because I know that he is working for more than 20 years in the foreigner companies.
Yes. Okay, Oleg.
How did you learn how to work with European?
Well, it was not a challenge for me to learn because I'm coming from a diplomatic environment, and when I joined international business in Russia back 28 years ago, so I didn't have it was not a challenge for me. During all these years, what I have been witnessing is the cultural differences between what is good in Russia to be polite in terms of behavior, conduct, and what is good for Europeans or Americans. I totally agree with Stefan that there is no good or bad definitions, but rather, okay, what is appropriate in this country or in another country. And sometimes there are more differences between the way, for example, English people behave themselves and the Americans while they're speaking the same language than between Germans, for example, and Russians. But just few observations from my most recent experience. So I worked for the Port of Antwerp for almost 1 year, and the audience, the stakeholders, are a bit different from my previous experience. So people working in logistical industry, in sea terminals, and forwarding companies, and I found that this community is a bit different. I mean, the local one, the Russian people. Well, it is well accepted practice when you receive an email and you have to answer. Okay, even if you don't have a clear answer to the questions from this email, you just answer. Okay, and if you normally you start your answer with the word "thank you for your email." Okay, or "thank you for your letter," and then you either answer the question or excuse yourself for not having a direct answer. But in this category of stakeholders from my current industry, in case person does not have an answer, he does not respond. And when I ask, okay, why you didn't respond? Well, I didn't have an answer. Why should I spend my time? Why should I spend your time? So I may accept it, but my counterparts in the port, when they do not receive any comments to their emails, okay, they are becoming disappointed. So they then call me and say, "Andrew, what does that mean? Do they not respect us, or did we do something really odd?" I said, "No. I mean, so I'm also a bit surprised." Yeah. But okay, so this is a live example from my current occupation. But certainly, if I start to recall my experience that started in the beginning of '90s, well, there are a lot of examples. Yeah. Like in the '90s, well, here in Moscow, people never were on time for the business meetings. And all the foreigners, they knew that in Moscow it's not possible to arrive on time. So every time there was the same excuse. Okay, traffic jams in Moscow. Although 25 years ago there were less cars in this city, probably 50% of the current amount of cars. But nobody, I mean, from our local partners, arrived on time, and the foreigners, they accepted it. Okay, this is the way Russians do business. Okay, I remember then when I was in PepsiCo, for example, we have accepted 30 minutes late. Okay, was acceptable. But today, certainly, the habits and ways of local businessmen have also changed, because okay, people acquired a lot of experience dealing with people from other countries. They're traveling and they're acquiring experience, which we may call it international practices, not the local ones, but international. But still, okay, in every country you find some peculiarity, and I think this is good that countries keep their traditions, unless certainly they are rude or not polite. But for people coming from other geographies, I think it's a good advice to understand these peculiarities and to respect them and find a way how to how to accommodate yourself in a different cultural environment. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrei. You finish it with your diplomatic background. We understood. Stefan, and maybe Gleb will give his opinion on how it was to work with Belgium. You are working in the Belgian companies.
I remember when I came to Russia, I tried to find some studies about expats, how Russian thinks about expats, and I was really in shock, because it's 10 years ago, but out of the study, if you asked, it was like a questionnaire, you know, like an enquete, and they said an expat, he or she is coming to Russia for 3-4 years, work hard, try to change a lot, but they don't have a clue what they're doing, and then they go back to their very nice house with a big swimming pool, relaxing their life, and we are left over with the shit. That was the summary of how they think about expats. But if you have this in your mind, you know, you can also sometimes understand, because this is how they look at us sometimes. You come here for a few years, and then you go back to your nice house with your big swimming pool, enjoying life. And we are staying in the same situation, nothing improved. I don't know, Gleb is correct, but that's some...
I fully support colleagues. Good afternoon to all of you. My first manager was from the United States, and was at the mid of 90s, and it was incredible experience, because it's completely different behavior and different approach to the management, to the employees, and it was the first lesson I learned. But I fully support Stefan here that it basically depends on the intentions. If a manager lives in Russia and he expects to stay here for 8 years, for 10 years, then it will be a completely different synergy between the employees and the manager. But the main rules remain the same. So to keep promises, to keep given word, and to pay respect. I think that's most critical rules. Thank you, colleagues.
Thank you, Gleb. But we are right at time. It's exactly 1 hour now. If you have some other comments or question, please just activate your microphone. You are welcome. We will continue then.
Yes, if I may, maybe.
Yes, Daniel, please, Daniel.
I think one point that was surprising for me in Russia was what I called at the beginning the superstitions of comprehensions of seeing the things. For example, if you spoke about giving a gift. When a traditional gift for a man to a woman is flowers. But what we don't know at all in the West is that the number of flowers is extremely important in Russia. If you give an
Yeah,
even
pair or
number
unpair,
of
yes.
flowers, it's just like for deaf people. So something about which we don't care at all is extremely important for the Russians. So we have to learn those customs. There are many, in fact. You never leave an empty bottle on the table. There are many, and I think it is very important to make the endeavor to learn what to do and what not to do. There are many books and on the internet you can find, but it is an important point because you can shock really the people with very small details about which you don't care at all. Yeah, maybe also I don't know. This is less practice, but I remember that in the past it was not very polite to give directly money in the hand. You just put it on the table,
Yes,
or
the hand on the money on the
and
table. Yeah.
people take it. So there are so many small gesture, but which we don't even think that they could make a problem. But I think it's very important to learn that.
Thank you, Daniel.
Thank you.
Ekaterina, Benoit, you have something to add?
May I add something?
Yes,
something?
Marina, please.
Yeah, I'm Russian myself by origin, but I live in Belgium for 20 years. And before I worked for 4 years in London. And I worked in Belgium with Belgians, Dutch, German. So I have quite broad experience, and I worked in a consulting between Western and Russian companies for a long time. And I can recognize everything what you say, guys. And it's indeed not answering the emails by Russians is quite annoying. And I start to realize it when I started to work with Russians, and now I know it's just indeed the way that people indeed didn't decide yet, or don't know what to say, and they simply not answer. Because I know it now, I always write myself, okay, thank you for your email, I received it, I will think about it, and I will answer you ASAP. So it doesn't, you don't promise anything, but on the other hand, people know that you are thinking about their request, etc. And I think it's quite important. I agree that cultural things are not wrong or right, but this is wrong, I think, and this Russians have to learn just to answer without promising anything, but letting know that they are aware of the answer, or they are aware of your question and they're thinking about it. The other thing is, I think Russians are very direct compared to definitely British, but also Belgians. So when I worked in London, for example, when I would draft an email, I just write what I think and I send. But in London, I had to change my approach. So I would write my answer, and then I reread my email and I start to add, as discussed earlier, it would be very, we could put follow up on these. So all these little additional phrases which make it more nice and polite, which in Russia we are not used to. Actually, people say quite directly what they want to say. While in the UK, I think in Belgium, people are more trying to communicate in a more polite way, not so directly. Yeah, with handshaking for women in Russia is still very confusing. Definitely, for example, for me being Russian, but yeah, with a lot of Western customs, I do shake hands when I come in for a meeting or anything, and I just decided to do it, full stop. And I know that in a typical Russian environment, it can be people look very strange sometimes, like, ooh, she's shaking, she's giving her hand. That's unusual. Maybe for a Western woman, they don't see it as a strange, but for a Russian woman, they do look that it's strange. But okay, then they start to realize that, okay, I have a Western background as well, and eventually they look strange, but they accept it. But yeah, don't be surprised if all men shaking hands and all women are not shaking hands. So that's quite typical as well. And I think the question of Stefan about differences between European nationalities or Western nationalities, there are, of course, cultural differences between different people in Europe, between Americans and European. But I think the etiquette rules are quite the same and quite accepted, definitely within the Europe. So here we are talking about etiquette, and then something that people expect more or less is the same. The other thing is the differences in characters. For example, Dutch are extremely direct. They just directly say what they think without any, they don't bother. If you agree, disagree, they say what
Like
they
Russian.
think. Like Russians more, indeed.
Interesting.
Belgians will not really say what they think. They will around the corner discuss about your own opinion or your own decision, but they will not step forward and say what they exactly would like, what they exactly think. You really have to consider it and take it into account. But in terms of etiquette, the politeness is politeness, and people have to apply. And indeed, etiquette rules in Russia are sometimes different from the West. And it's just, at least it's good to know from both sides what is polite in one side and what is polite in the other side. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's
Thank you, Marina.
Sorry.
Dear colleagues, thank you very much. We are already 8 minutes over our planning. Thank you very much. For me, I learned a lot today. Johan, you would like to say something? Mr. Lambert?
Well, I don't want to restart the debate. I just, I mean, time is over. Maybe it's an occasion to have another debate. But because it's the etiquette, and I see that since the 90s, the use of foreign languages has improved in Russia. My question is, how can you see the use of languages in Russia at this point of time, and certainly in respect with improving the etiquette and the business relationship with the Russian partner? So what about the language?
Ekaterina, maybe.
Yes, of course. Everybody try to study English language first of all. We really have special program in schools, and sometimes it's not enough to speak fluently. You see, even my English, because of absence of practice, is not excellent just now. But we try, we understand, everybody's understand, and that it's necessary to know minimum one English, one foreign language. But I may say that we haven't so many practice. We haven't programs in English, we haven't transcription in English, so we haven't practiced. That's why we may read, we may understand you, but it's difficult for us sometimes to say anything. Maybe it's cultural characteristic, maybe it's education characteristic, but we have this situation. Concerning to improvement in our etiquette, just now there are minimum 5 schools of etiquette, 4 of them concerning to social etiquette and dining manners, and 1 of them concerning to business etiquette. We're talking about this with men.
Not the language manners.
Language manners, I may say that we are on the direct way for this.
Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Ekaterina. Mr. Lambert,
It sounds very Oleg, sorry, I want
Marina.
to add about the language. Because I was general director of a Russian company for 12 years, and we hired employees who worked abroad also. My experience, definitely if people learned in school English, because people can choose English or German or French or whatever, but most who has learned English in school in the past, they will very quickly pick up. So if you have to hire somebody in Russia and the person has learned in school or university English, cannot speak at the moment, but you are convinced that the technical skills are acceptable for your company, I would say hire that person and he will pick up English in 3 months if you give practice to him or her. It's just not the main. There are, of course, more and more young people who begin to speak, but language is a problem in Russia. Not everybody speaks good English.
The young people start
they
more
all
and more,
learned.
Marina.
Yes, I agree. But still, on the street, if you stop person, it's not. They will not speak most probably with you fluently in English. But for people who want to hire a specialist, if you are satisfied with the technical knowledge, language will be quickly picked up because they learned it normally.
Okay. Thank you, Marina, for your comment. Dear friends, dear colleagues, we will reorganize, I'm sure, one more meetings about this interesting topic because I see that the reactions came a little bit maybe later. I salute all of you again and see you for, I think, now in January for our next online event. Thank you very much.
Спасибо.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
До свидания. Bye bye. Ist geschwind.